Traders, this is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. Let's get this thing started, shall we? Got a lot of stuff to do ahead of the retail sales, and so I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Okay. So here's the euro, and as we discussed earlier, we've really cracked some, in my opinion, some pretty key support here. Hold on one second. Let me just grab what I need to grab. Okay. All right. So so we've cracked what I consider really critical support is we cracked the 618 retracement. So now our next support is going to be the 786, which is the 113 level. All right, so let's go ahead and delete this. Let's get it out of the way. We're already heading down there now. Okay, so 113. Now, ultimately, I believe this is where we're going on this next leg down. Now, notice, just so you guys know, this is a very shallow retracement, and you don't need to answer me this question. But when you have a shallow retracement, what does that mean about the next move? Again, what is the if we have such a shallow retracement, what does that mean about the next move? It's going to be a pretty strong one, right? More than likely. I mean, the probabilities of whenever you have a retracement that is 38% retracement, that's probably going to be an A, B equals C, D. More than likely, okay? Not guaranteed. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed in the market. But when you have a shallow retracement, yeah, that tends to happen quite a bit. All right. Now, if that's the case, then you have, if you look at what the AB equals CD equals or would represent in this case, we're looking at a move towards 112. Now, does 112 seem logical to you? Well, it seems logical to me because if you look at the low to high, 112 is 38% retracement of this entire move. All right? So, with that being said, okay, with that being said, if we're ultimately going down here, or there's a good chance that we're ultimately going down there, where can we look to sell the euro dollar? Because if we're going to bounce, all right, which could happen. I mean, we could. Let's not kid ourselves. The U.S. data that we've seen in recent weeks has been less than stellar, right? It really has. And oh, let me add one last thing. So, has the consumer felt more of a squeeze with retail sales and consumer spending? I mean, look, gas prices have gone up. In my opinion, they've gone up about 30% from what I've seen. Just what I pay. And, I've gone from, let me just give you some round numbers. I would say we've gone from an average of $2.20 a gallon over 2 months ago, in gas alone, to close to $3. Or maybe actually I take that back, probably like 270, 280. So we've gone up maybe 20 or 30% in prices at the pump. So is that going to weigh on retail sales? Well, I mean, we're expected retail sales to come in negative. So if it is and it's too negative, we might bounce. So if we bounce here, a move back to 114 would be a great place to be on the short side of the euro dollar, okay? So if we rally to 114, I'm assuming that's going to be good resistance. Now support today will be at 113 because that is a 786 retracement. All right. It's also 161% extension at 113. So 113 is going to be really key support today. Are you all with me? Do you all understand where I got those numbers? All right. We have been in a range environment. We're going to go into a bearish environment today for the euro. Now, it's not like a longer term bearish. If I keep us looking at these longer term ranges, we're gonna end up being in a range environment for like the next 6 months, in my opinion. So it's a bearish trend for right now. Okay, unless we get back above 114 today and we can close back above 114, it's going to be bearish near term. So that means, you know, we're probably going to be bearish till we hit back down towards, you know, 110 and maybe even a little bit lower. All right. Okay, good. Fair enough. All right, let's go on the cable. Now, let me ask you this. Where is support in the pound? What did we write down yesterday? What was support in the cable yesterday? You guys know this. You know it. You got it. What is it? 143.75. That was from yesterday, right? What's today's low? 143.78. Right? Okay. So how important is that support? Yeah, well, pretty important, right? Pretty damn important. Now, all I have to say to you guys is, thank God you guys didn't get suckered into that, you know, the cable long here, because man, that thing's been trading pretty heavy. Now, question is, what happens afterwards? I mean, if the pound does break down today, where are we going to go, right? Where is it going to go? So, first and foremost, resistance is pretty key right here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to grab that line. So the pound resistance is 145. I know we've been writing 145.25 and 145.75. So 145.25. I mean, that was what we wrote down yesterday, and we actually went there basically. So 145.25 is still resistance. 145.25 is still resistance. Support. We're going to have to make the assumption that we break down. Bottom line, right? We're going to have to just make that assumption. It's a 50% retracement. So the 618 comes in. Spike low comes in at 142.92 or 142.94 there. Low is 142.98. 618 is 142.92, so I'm going to write down 142.90. So what does that mean? 142.90. What does that mean? Well, that means if the pound breaks down and we spike down to 143, you probably want to take your profits. So think about that. Look, remember this whole week we've been having this conversation. The conversation goes something like this. I'm a new trader, and the big guys keep taking advantage of me. How do they do that? What does a base or new trader do? What is like would be a normal MO for a trader, a beginning trader to do? I'm going to put my stop at 143, right? They chase price. They, you know, they're like, okay, I'm gonna buy the pound right now, and I'm gonna put my stop at just below 143. What would we do at 143? What would we do? We would wait for the stops to get cleared, and then we would turn around and get long, right? See, this is how we take advantage of the other traders, the new ones, right? This is how we do it. This is how we do it. I'm just kidding. All right, so you know what I mean? So, again, I'm teaching you guys some of the tricks of the trade here. All right. All right. So we should have key support down there. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think I'm going to get long down there? Hell no. Hell no. Actually, not even no, but hell no. Like, you can't catch me getting long. But if I was short the cable, if for some reason I was short and I'm not, but if I was short, I'd be covering my shorts down here when everybody else gets stopped out. When all those new traders get stopped out of their longs, yeah, I'd be covering, right? Okay. I do feel we're in a range here in the cable. I don't see it as bearish as the euro. Maybe it is. Hold on. Oh shit. Maybe it. Shoot. Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Egads. Yeah, it doesn't look very bullish. Can't say it looks bullish, right? All right. Well, I'm going to keep it range for now. The pound's a big hot mess. It really is. It's a big hot mess. All right, let's go over the Swissy. Now, the thing about the Swissy is I've been contemplating buying this stupid thing, but I have to tell you, man, it's been pretty damn messy. And we're actually seeing a lot of Swiss strength. I think a lot of that has to do with the market being a little risk averse at the moment. And you could see like the Euro Swiss has been under a lot of pressure recently. Here's the Euro Swiss. We've come off from 111 to 110. That's a pretty big reversal, right? We had a nice little Gartley pattern. We reversed. Maybe it's time to buy the Swissy because we have come off so much here. Because look at the Euro Swiss right here. I mean, wouldn't you agree that that's pretty big support right there in the Euro Swiss? Tempted not to go long. Tempted. Hold on really quick. I might actually go long some Euro Swiss right now. I went long some Euro Swiss. I bought some. I bought some. I own it at 110.22. I'm gonna put my stop below probably like 109.90. Here, let me do that. This is really good support here. This way, I don't have to worry about like retail sales so much. Sell stop. Here, I'm just putting in my stop. Just bear with me. All right. Yeah, I bought some Euro Swiss. It's like, dude, we came out of that Gartley pattern perfectly. We're on trendline support. We're at the breakout point right here. Well, when I go long some Euro Swiss? Yeah, so I bought a little bit. Like I said, I can be long this ahead of retail sales and not really worry about it too much. Okay. Anyway, and that Euro Swiss has come off quite a bit. Let me check one last thing. This looks like a 38% retracement. pretty damn close. That would take us down to 110, but yeah, pretty damn close. All right. Anyway, going back to the Swissy. So the Swissy, I haven't been like convinced to buy the Swissy just yet. So Swedish krona is a completely different other story. But if we dip, I mean, if we dip here to 96, like let's say we have a weak number and we can dip to 96.80, that might be the place to be long. Okay, resistance would be this is a messy chart, very very messy chart. I have to tell you that this chart doesn't excite me in the least bit, not in the least bit right now. And maybe, just maybe, I'm just thinking out loud here, maybe this is it. Maybe. Okay, I'm just going to keep that up there for now. So resistance is 97.40. The high is 97.35. Really? Is that the high? 97.42. Okay, so 97.40. 97.40 will be resistance. Not great resistance. That isn't great support. I can't say there's a whole lot I'd like to do with the dollar Swiss at the moment. Okay, let's take a look at the dollar yen. Here's the dollar yen. As you guys know, this is the same as yesterday. As you guys know, I'm actually contemplating going long the dollar yen soon. I know it sounds crazy, and I know that you're probably thinking, oh my God, Blake must be smoking crack, but I'm not. I'm only smoking dope, not crack. My mom said say no to crack. But she did, she was kind of a hippie to her credit, so. Mirko's like, be honest, how much crack smoking have you done this morning? Oh, ton. Yeah, because it is approximately 4:48 a.m. my time. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's how much crack I smoke at 4 o'clock in the morning. Funny thing is actually there are probably people that do smoke crack that are actually still awake from last night right now, but I've actually had a night's sleep and everything. Anyway, I don't know why we're having this conversation. It really doesn't make much sense. But what I'm going to tell you is I'm really contemplating getting long the US dollar Japanese yen soon. I'm not long the dollar Japanese yen. I'm just considering doing it soon. All right, support 108.25, resistance 109.50. Nothing's changed here. 108.25. 109.50. That is major resistance. We are in a range. Let's go into the Canadian. So I sold half of my Canadian. Now my cost average is not great anymore because we have FIFO, so my cost average was at 128 because I was buying a lot of dollar Canadian. Well, I was buying it all over the place the last couple of days. I bought some at 120, 128.80. I bought a lot here at 128.80. I bought a lot down here at 127.80. So my cost average now of what I have is 128.30. Let me double check that. My cost average is 128.39. So I don't have a great cost average, but I sold half of my position here in the dollar Canadian. Okay. We had a nice hammer yesterday. Okay. Michael said, "What restraint? I don't smoke crack until after 8 a.m." Oh, Michael, that's discipline, baby. Discipline. All right. Anyway, we had a hammer, kind of doji, uh, just however you can call it, a pin bar, whatever you want to call it, spinning top. We had a long wick. So we had a long wick. Crude looked like we reversed yesterday. Um, because of that, we are, a little bit higher. Now, what we're approaching is resistance. So let's be really careful here. This resistance is at basically 129. So if we get above 129 today, that would be a pretty bullish event for the Canadian. All right. Support, I'm going to say that any dip now to 128 is going to be bought, because if you were short the dollar Canadian yesterday, here, let's delete this. You guys know I was waiting for that. I should have been more disciplined on my entry. And let me be the first one to tell you, I did not trade the Canadian very well. I did not trade the Canadian very well. I'd been planning to buy the Canadian at 127.50. Of course, I got in early. I started buying it at like 128, 80. Then I bought some more like 128.50. I bought some more like 120, 8. And I bought some more like 127.80. So my cost average is 128 yesterday. My now cost average is 128.40. So I didn't trade it as well as I could have. I knew what was going to happen, but if you think that I'm perfect by any stretch of the means, this example of what I did with the Canadian is a perfect example of how I mistraded the dollar Canadian. So if you give yourself a hard time, you're like, God, you call yourself names and you're like, man, how stupid can I be? I knew it was going to happen. I didn't do it like I'd planned. Look, I do it too. I've been in this business I've been trading the markets now for over 20 years. Okay. And so if I still make those types of mistakes, then you have to understand that, and you may have respect for me and what I do, but also realize I'm not perfect. I'm a human, and I'm not perfect, okay? So I just explained to you how I mistraded the dollar Canadian. Now, granted, I made money, but I still look back and say I could have done better, all right? Because I did plan on us dipping down here, and I should have just been more patient and bought it all below 128, but instead I started getting in a little early. So anyway, I just wanted to explain that to you so you're not so hard on yourself, because I know it's easy to beat yourself up, okay? But I will tell you that anybody who's short the dollar Canadian, if anybody who shorted the dollar Canadian below 128 yesterday is probably thinking, oh my God, if we can just get to 128, I'm going to cover, right, and just take my loss. So I think any dip to 128 now is just going to be bought aggressively, okay? All right, and you know what? If we dip to 128, guess who else is gonna buy the dip? Me. That's right. All right, we are in a range. We're out of our bearish trend, and we are. And I'll tell you this right now. If we break above 130 next week, we're gonna go bullish. So. And yes, this is setting up as an inverted head and shoulder pattern. So if we break above 130, that will be extremely bullish. All right. That is an inverted head and shoulder pattern in development. Okay. I'm going to put you guys on hold. When I come back, we will do the Kiwi, the Aussie, the dollar index, the peso, the Swedish krona, the Norwegian krona, and we're going to finish getting ready for the U.S. retail sales and producer prices that are coming out in about 30 minutes. So thanks everybody for being here. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. All right, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. So let's continue on. So we were talking about the Canadian. Let's go on the Kiwi. The damn Kiwi dollar. Man, this stupid thing is probably one of the most frustrating trades I've been in a while. Just being long some Kiwi, or excuse me, being short some Kiwi. The Aussie New Zealand's, it just like doesn't, it's like nonstop just slumping. I might have to actually get out of that Aussie New Zealand later today. I'm actually long a little bit of pound New Zealand and euro New Zealand. Both are down a little bit, but the Kiwi is frustratingly strong. And that is something that is just, it's driving me crazy, because the dollar keeps grinding higher against everything else, but the Kiwi is just so frustrating. I really hope the Kiwi breaks and falls aggressively today. That would be like, it would make my day. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these spike lows right here, and we're going to mark them, because this is this will be the in my opinion. Let me get rid of this blue line. I'm trying to get rid of the blue one right here. No, for crying out loud. I can't even, it won't even let me play, it won't even let me do the charts. Okay, so you want to hear Blake cry like a baby? Yeah. So I'm trading the Kiwi. This is my next laptop throw, or laptop destruction, is going to be dedicated to the Kiwi dollar. Just so you all know, I mean, it's already set in stone. Now I just have to make it happen. But my next destruction of the computer will be dedicated to the Kiwi for certain. I actually have no doubt about that. Ironically, I actually trade the Kiwi pretty well most times. Right now, not so much. Okay. $67.80. The lows right there. 67.8, that's support, and that's key support, because if that breaks, we're going to start filling gaps. 67.80. Okay. The flip side is, if we break through 68.50, that is going to squeeze, and it's not going to be pretty, and I'm going to be really ticked off if that happens. Okay. If we break through the 60, I know we have 68.60 right here, but you can see this 68.50 is really, this is going to be more of the, I know we've been writing 60. We can write either, but all I have to say is I'm going to actually write 68.60. If we break through that, we are going to squeeze. And like I said, I'm not going to be a happy camper if that happens. All right. Okay. So we're in a bearish trend right now, because we have this double top, and we're just trying to make our way lower, out of this double top. It's trying. I mean, it's like trying like crazy. The thing is if we get back above 68.60, I feel that will invalidate this entire formation here. Okay. I'm hoping that's not going to happen. All right. Anyway, we're bearish as long as we stay, especially if we can close below 68 today. We can close down here. It's going to retain its bearish bias. All right, let's go over to the Aussie. The Aussie dollar continues to drop lower. Bounces are shallow. Now we're getting towards 161% extension in the breakout point. So this is going to be really key support today. 72.50. We're bearish. We're gonna keep this bearish, or we're gonna turn it bearish. But 68.50. Did I say 68.50? 78. 72.50. Geez, 72.50. It's gonna be pretty key support. Okay. Now, if we can crack that, then I mean, there's a lot of support all the way through here. There's 72 cents right there. There's a 618. Anyway, 74 cents is still resistance. But let me see if I can. Hold on. Just seeing something. Okay, never mind. Okay, forget it. I don't know where resistance is. I really don't. I mean, I'm going to write down 74 cents, but it's not. I mean, we'll hit resistance before that. I just got to write that down because I have nothing else to write. Okay. All right, let's go to the dollar index. So here's the dollar index. God, look at that dollar Canadian. Go Canadian. I like what I'm seeing. All right. Here's the dollar index. This is, we tried to do a false breakout yesterday. We came under pressure, but the dips are very shallow in the dollar. I don't think we'll get down all the way down here today, but okay, resistance for sure is right there, 94.43. I mean, that's there's no if and or buts about that, right? Yeah, because hold on, let me delete this because that is, if I'm not mistaken, that's the 786 of this, right? Pretty damn close. So I'm going to write down 94.50. 94.50, and just trying to figure out where support's at. That's the harder question to answer. So I would assume a dip towards 94 is going to be bought, and hopefully we get down there today because that's where I'm going to actually buy some more dollars if we can get it. We're in a range, but we're threatening to, you know, we're really just kind of still in a range here on the dollar index. You know what I almost bought yesterday, which I'm upset that I didn't. We were on the Lunch Money webinar when I talked about it, but I just didn't pull the trigger. I almost bought the Euro Canadian at the bottom. Yesterday, right here, somewhere through here. Anyway, I don't know why that just came to my mind. Probably because I'm just looking at the Canadian going, holy crap, the Canadian's still strong. All right, let's go over to the peso. So the peso, I traded it a couple of times yesterday. I bought it yesterday at 17.91. I sold it at 18 or 17.92, and I was sold at 18. Then I bought it again at 17 on this dip right here. I bought it again at 17.92 or 91.50, and I sold it at 17.95.50. And I don't have any peso exposure anymore, but it looks strong. And the reason why it looks strong is because the market's risk averse. So But looking at it today, I don't see any edge in trading the US dollar Mexican peso right now. I don't, because if you look at this range that we're in on this hourly range, we have, we have the support that comes down here around 1780. We have resistance at 1820, and we're sitting right smack dab in the middle. So for me, it's not, to me, it's not like there's no real edge in taking a position right now. And 1780 is so far away, and 1820 is so far away. I'm going to write them down, but I don't think there's anything to do at the moment. Okay, so 1780 basically is support, and 1820, is it 1820 or 1821? 1821 and 1781. So I don't think there's anything to do right now in the peso. Like I said, I was buying it yesterday. I bought it twice in the 90s, low 90s, and then sold it. But I don't, since I don't own it right now, I don't think there's a whole lot to do with it. Okay. Let's take a look at the Norwegian krona. So I sold my Norwegian krona for break even today, up here. I owned it at like 817. I sold it for 817. I literally, I think I lost like less than a pip. I mean, it really was break even. I mean, it's about as break even as you can get, It made me a little nervous yesterday with the strength of the Norwegian GDP numbers, because those are really strong numbers. But looking at it right now, I don't think there's a lot to do unless crude oil really comes under pressure. I don't know if you want to do anything with it. Like 825 is still major resistance. I would say 810 is support. So, and it's kind of like the peso. There's not a whole lot to do with it at the moment. So 810, 825 is obviously major resistance. That's major. It's right here. But you're right in the middle, so there's not a whole lot to do with it right now. Now, the US dollar Swedish krona. Let me just put this on right now. I am long the US dollar Swedish krona. I own it at 815. Okay. My cost average right now, I sold a little bit this morning, so it's 816.17. 816, 8.1617. We had this hammer. We broke out. We're above 38% retracement. We're targeting 826 right now. And a dip towards 818 will be bought. And you know what? I'll add back what I sold this morning at 818 if we can get there today. 826, 826.77 is resistance. Your bias chart is done. It is finished. So let me take a few minutes to answer some questions.